Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB today in the arena. I know what you've been thinking. Where's the control? CGB's been playing with Omnixilus and Isika's Charity. He's been making tokens. God, even his Esper deck was just a bunch of white creatures. What is going on? Is this man broken? Not broken. But sometimes when the cards that are threats are so much better than the cards that are answers, you have to let the meta settle a little bit and kind of survey the field and figure out where you can strike. So I've been working on it. I've played more games with this deck than any other. People who've been watching my streams on Twitch, you should follow over there. Check me out live. Know that I've been playing the hell out of this deck and been working on it. And I'm ready to show you at least a version. I've been playing with so many cards, there might even be some different cards during the video. You don't have to leave me a comment, by the way, when that happens. I know, I'm very aware when cards in my deck and cards in video don't match. It's because I'm trying different cards. It happens. The comments, the YouTube comments. I swear, some people see it as their civic duty to inform me of cards in my own deck that aren't in my own deck list, as if that is like a critical flaw, right? But anyway, I've tried a lot of different things in this deck. This is a Bant control deck, by the way, designed to win insanely long games. It's 90% blue-white control, a little bit of green for some new cards, and I'm going to introduce those cards now. The important and most importantest is Endless Detour. This is a Bant for an instant that says the owner of target spell, non-land permanent, or card in a graveyard puts it on top or bottom of their library. And my gosh, you have to read it like 3 times to really figure out all the different ways this can go. But at the end of the day, this card is really neat and super versatile. Obviously, you can target your opponent's stuff to get a nearly memory lapsey divide by zero-y effect, which is very frustrating. It does not counter the spell, so hits Hullbreaker Horror very nicely. Actually does better than divide by zero in that particular regard, because then they lose a draw step getting it back. So things like that are interesting. Putting it on top of their deck, much like memory lapse, is really good if you can find a way to mill or get them to shuffle, or if you use this in response to a shuffle effect, like them cracking a Field of Ruin or an Evolving Wilds. That's very, very effective. So Endless Detour has a lot of playability just against the opponent. Against Omnixilus copies, you can nail the copy, and then they just don't get it anymore. Tokens, like you can hit all kinds of tokens with this. Spells on the stack, like I think now you get the idea. But you can also target your own graveyard. You can target any spell, any non-land permanent in your own graveyard, and put it on top of your deck. So what that does is it creates the Shigeki loop without the turtle. You can consistently use Shigeki to get back, say, all these cards, just everything. That's non-legendary, so except for Wandering Emperor, I guess. And then you can Endless Detour to target the Shigeki in your graveyard that you channeled there and put it back on top of your deck so you draw it again and do the cycle again. And this creates a bit of an endless situation. And what's more, as far as a control win con, exactly the kind of nasty things I like to do to my opponent, if you can keep getting back Endless Detours and keep putting Shigeki on top of your deck, you never run out of cards. You never run out of cards because it keeps replacing your draw step. So I love taking silly things like that and making it into a win con, which is what we're kind of doing here. It's why we only have 2 Wandering Emperors and 2 Hall of the Storm Giants and no other ways to actually deal damage to the opponent, because we can grind them to absolute dust with Endless Detours and Shigeki, as long as we don't actually get our Shigeki exiled or put it into the field of play for bad things to happen to it. Just keep channeling and keep all that action on the stack, and the opponent really can't do much about it. You can also Endless Detour Shigeki in response to something like a Graveyard Trespasser or Hive of the Eye Tyrant at instant speed. The other new card is Broker's Charm. This is a green, a white, and a blue. It has 3 modes. The first one is target creature you control gets +1/+0. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. This won't come up much better in a creature deck. We don't have many creatures, but it still comes up sometimes. Sunset Revelry, Wandering Emperor, Hall of Storm Giants, we can use those to kill off planeswalkers. That seems to be the most common thing I do when I use that mode. Then the other 2 modes are very relevant. Destroy target enchantment hits a ton of things in all kinds of runes decks, wedding announcement decks, just all kinds of things. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. And then draw 2 cards, instant speed divination. Really, that's what we wanted. Behold the Multiverse is great and all, and Memory Deluge is really great, but they occupy the same spot in the curve 90% of the time. They're both 4 mana plays. We really wanted a 3 mana, just get a couple of cards, hit our land drops, and then get to do our 4 mana plays. So Broker's Charm definitely worth cutting into the deck here. Is the mana terrible? Might be something that you want to ask. Actually, we have 13 sources of green, which should give us one within the first couple of turns, a very high percentage of the time, like over 80% of the time. We've got 4 Spar's Headquarters, 4 Dreamroot Cascade, 4 Overgrown Farmland, and we've got Abo Seiju. So actually getting the green mana into the deck is pretty easy, all things considered, and then playing the rest of the mana base like a blue-white control deck. Seagate Restoration is definitely a bit of a quality of life improvement, because in our endgame state, we just want to keep getting back the whole graveyard with Shigeki. Deciding what to discard is a real bummer. We have a Depopulate. This is another new card, basically a Wrath of God type effect in this deck, a little extra Doomscar with your Doomscar. And then we've also got an Offer You Can't Refuse. We could have had 2 negates. We could have negate and Test of Talons. I'm trying out an Offer You Can't Refuse. Yes, the opponent gets 2 treasures, but there are a lot of spots where you really need to counter something, and you can Shigeki, but you come up a mana short, right? Or you're down a card because of it, because you need to save 2 mana for something like a negate. So if you have like 7 mana, you can cast Shigeki, get back 2 cards, an Endless Detour, and an Offer You Can't Refuse, and then you can counter the spell, untap, Endless Detour back to Shigeki, continue. So it's an interesting deck. It's a very fun deck, and I've played it a lot. Is it going to be the best? It's really tough to beat Ob Nixilis, and it's really tough to beat Mono White, but it's good against the general field, and I'm above 50% win rate. So let's play some games. It's really fun. Let's dive in. Let the nonsense begin. All right. Well, it's a hand. It has 3 colors. It has Doomscar. It's on the draw. It doesn't have double white, but we're not going to need it because our opponent has a Teferi Avatar, so they're the most obvious control gamer in the world. Get that foretold. Let the opponent stare into the abyss. What sits there on priority like that? Spikefield Hazard? They can Prismari Command themselves. Their hand must be a little janky then. Okay, they're playing turns. The matchup that you just can't win. Like, I will try. We'll give it the go. We'll see what Endless Detour does for us here. But, I mean, this is the unwinnable if you have ever played Standard at all. Since Goldspan Dragon was invented, it's like so hard. All right, draw 2. We do have this cheap draw engine now. Of course, they have the one that comes with mana, Unexpected Windfall. And they can copy it. It's pretty good. They might be thinking about Jwari on this. Go for it. Little taunt. Try to wake them up. Like I said, they even discard the Jwari to show me how woke they are. Just go for it. 1 mana open. You're gonna have to try that again. You want to draw that again? I mean, if every card they could draw is Goldspan Dragon, they'd be in a pretty happy place. Okay. So the fact that they already have a treasure is super tilting and a big time problem. Because they can probably save the Goldspan Dragon. They'll have 2 mana available anyway. I would love to like try to Wandering Emperor it. We can Seed of Aganjo it. Yeah. Let's get this tapped land out of the way. We'll try to seat the dragon. They'll probably bounce it or something. Then when we play the Wandering Emperor, hopefully they don't counter it. But They'll have 2 treasures regardless, which makes them incredibly difficult to deal with. Just infinite mana advantage just from facing their threats. All right, they've played a Jwari, they've discarded a Jwari. On offer, you can't refuse, huh? Let's see that. Let's see how much they can keep on the pressure. If they just powered up Hall and attacked with it, that would be brutal. Actually, don't have a great solution there. Wandering Emperor could make a 2/2. But couldn't exile it because we can't pay the ward. So we need a little more time. Just rip that one out, huh? Yeah. Don't think there's much I can do about it. Right now, their big threat, though, is the Prismari command. If they have an untapped land, the big score is very frustrating, but they don't. Okay. They can't counter anything. Let's just draw our cards. Let's draw some better cards than that. Okay, had to get through it somehow, I guess. Okay. 1 mana open. They just burn an iteration. Cool. I feel like we got a chance now, guys. Our opponent might actually not know how to play their deck. Suddenly my chances just increased dramatically. And we got them on 2 cards. Yeah, we just drew a lot more cards than they did, huh? I guess that still matters in Magic. It's not over yet, though. They can still close. We've got to find the right cards. But I will play the smart. I will do it. Don't just assume Wandering Emperor can kill them. It probably can't. Okay, my win con. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's not foretell the Doomscar. Let's flash back the Deluge. All right, they definitely just drew that land. Now they go for iteration. Fun. You can do it again. Alchemist Gambit. I'm tempted here to let them have the turns. Like, they have to draw good cards, right? Like, this isn't the Burbs. Without the Burbs, they have no clock. So let them have their turns with 1 card in hand. Leer is the best thing they could play by far, but here you go. Nice turn. Yeah, if they had a Leer there, we'd be in huge trouble, because I can't counter it, and then I can't counter the spells that follow, but, I mean, that was going to be a problem no matter what. Alright, my turn now? It says my turn, but I think they have 1 more. Scammed. That's what I get for talking too much. So, I like talking to you guys. I'm not going to stop doing it, but things like that are very easy to miss while running a dialogue. Detour? pretty good against them. At least has been so far. Then, I guess Charm, more cards. Just bury them in cards, right? Is it time to power up the Hall? It's a very hard card for them to deal with regardless. If we do, we still have Detour available. Or Offer plus Negate. So let's see what they've got. They might have like Fading Hope, right? Yeah, that's fine. They get their sweet scry to the top. Ooh, okay. What you got there? We have to discard? Oh, that's so rude. Here comes the iteration. Here comes a big score. All right, so negate. And you get those treasures, but no cards. We'll just leave you empty-handed. This is where Sunset Revelry is nothing, and it's very bad. Slow rolling Wandering Emperor because it's really good against Goldspan Dragon, it's really good against Hullbreaker Horror, but the time has come. The time has come to really push for the close.
We've got the edge in this fight.
The dragon is here, or is it? Would you like to draw that again? That's the victory. All right, we're on the play. Hand is interesting. Lots of cards and a Doomscar. Lair Dryad. Ramp. Okay, interesting. Let's get Doomscar Foretold. Eventually we'll need it. We'll slip Revitalize into a spot later in the game. It's fine. Oh yeah, we're already sitting in the comfort zone where we can just draw cards every turn. Let's see if the opponent can apply some pressure here. What you gonna do with all that green mana? More ramp. Topiary Stomper, 3 mana, 4/4 Vigilance, plant Dinosaur rare. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Can't attack or block unless you have 7 or more lands. Probably a good thing to see Mastery here. And it definitely makes me play this on white. We could have had a full-powered Revelry there, I think. 5. No, it was 5 to 5. We would not have drawn the card. Okay, Lair is chillin'. Opponent has 6 mana. What could they do at instant speed and green with that kind of mana? I do need... I do need land. I was tempted to take 2 land there. Alright. 7 lands. The 4/4 is alive. It's alive. Alive and swinging. 15. Plenty of life gain in hand, so can take it. Storm the Festival. Revitalize first. I'm probably going to Endless Detour, but Make it look like we drew into it. You want to do that again? Of course they would. That's a powerful card. Do we have triple blue? We do. 4 cards in hand. We could have a full powered Revelry, make some tokens, chump block. They're going to get a huge board, then we're going to mastery probably. We could also try to deluge into negate, which the possibility of that means we're going to give it a shot. We could also try to Broker's Charm into another Detour and or a negate instead of deluge. 14. Here it is. The moment of truth. I'm going to go for the deluge. Uses the most mana. Okay, absence and another charm and a hall. So no untapped land for the Seagate. We could take the hall to hit that, but Revitalize might draw it. I've already got another charm. I think I'll take the absence. No, let's make our land drop next turn. Let's take the hall. Let's be sure. All right, what you storming for? What does Storm the Festival do in your mono green rampy shell? Breeders, Ren.
We prefer not to fight, but we also will not hold. The will of the woods is
It's not that scary. Why? Like, obviously I have Devastating Mastery in hand, but I'm looking at this like, okay. They have 8 mana, so they are 2 turns away from re-storming the festival. 1 turn, they have a treasure. But Mastery will clean that up. Boom. Cool.
Leaves fall like tears.
See if they have like their Titan of Industry. The more expensive the cards, the worse the march gets, that's for sure. Boom! The mighty Titan of Industry. Probably make a 4/4, probably have a shield counter. Yep. Very strong. So to remove that shield counter, the Sunset Revelry is probably ideal, even though it still tramples, which is wow. Really tempting to Seagate, though. And then what? Take 11, then die to Lair of the Hydra? If I don't draw an untapped white source for the March? Oh, man. That is so gutsy. That is really gutsy. So we don't. No. We're not doing that. Okay. I talk myself into bad lines, man. More cards isn't the problem. We have to stay alive. So once we remove the shield counter by dealing some damage to the Titan, then we can Doomscar. I didn't know, like, I didn't think you'd play Titan in a Storm the Festival deck because you can't hit it, so it reduces the number of impactful hits. Seemed pretty bad to me, to be honest. But here we are. People are going to try it. And sometimes those things just end up, like those little Nambos, end up to be overrated. Like, you know, don't play Memory Deluge with cards that copy it, right? I mean, whatever they're hitting here, it's getting wrathed. Okay. I guess they don't mind Wrath on their Workshop Warchief because that will make a 4/4, but we can deal with a 4/4. We're okay. There's the Detours. They're a little late, but they are here. think we're chilling now. Just don't do anything too dumb. I think we'll just take it. Because we can gain at least 3 of it back, draw a card, and if they play another creature, we can Doomscar. Okay. Not terrified of Ren.
Those who harm the foe, the entire forest is an army.
Another Doomscar. Wandering Emperor. Ren helps us speed up the milling process. So we have Wandering Emperor. We also have Endless Detour March open for this Lair of the Hydra that just keeps, you know, being very concerned about attacking.
Every seed.
Blizzard Brawl. So that's a card that could be in our opponent's hand. Makes a ton of sense in the deck. Kind of go way over the top green. Alright, they're leaving up 2 mana. What's up with that? Snakeskin Veils? What if we just took it, Wandering Emperor, then plussed onto the Emperor and killed Ren? I think I like that even better. Their 2 mana up is really sus, right? But this plays around Snakeskin Veil as well.
Run away. You'll be safer. Let your blade do the talking.
They're green. What are they gonna do about this? Nothing. They're gonna do
Strike fast
nothing.
and strike hard.
We must regenerate.
So many land. These layers can be so juicy. Thick layer of Hydra. And then, rawr, out come Hydra. It's huge. Big old can of worms. Frickin' Tremors over here. There you go. Seven is lethal enough, right? Alright, just want to make sure this block actually happens. And then, in case they have a lot of stuff that's going to mess with me, we go for this march. No Veil. Doesn't look like a deck that would run Veil. Like, Veil in a ramp deck is super sus, but Ladder is sus. Yeah, you draw those ramp cards later in the game. Yeah. We love to see that. Alright. The opponent will chump and go fetch and whatever. It's fine. I'm pretty sure this one's in the bank. We don't even need to find the Shigeki, but when we do, it'll be game over by far.
We must protect the
The detours will buy us a good amount of time, and the deluges will get us even closer. Gotta be careful with that mana. There's so many snow-covered lands. Who knows what the auto-tapper will do? A Blitz mechanic, eh? There's a battlefield, gain 3 life when it dies 4/4. A Blitzed Workshop Warchief. Alright. We're gonna let that resolve because it's not a Titan of Industry. We're gonna just try to exile it. Because then they don't get the card. And we still have another march in the bank for the lair. Really tough matchup for the opponent. They definitely would prefer a creature deck to go up against to flex their big green muscles. Are they going to attack into this board with their other layer? I think they will. They want to keep the pressure on. And it's just a little bigger than our creatures. This might be the backbreaker, though. It could be all over. Victory. Dunkelgeist. Dunkelgeist. What do you play? Jace Avatar, Owl, no sleeves. The only thing that doesn't scream control about this is the no sleeves. Control players have to have sleeves. Control players spend more money, it's just a fact. Frickin' whale hobby. So, Hive. Hive no one drop. Interesting. Fancy lands. Adversary. Let the Rakdos meta continue. Foretell Doomscar. Next turn we'll have all kinds of options. But how far behind will we be? Will our opponent have Fable the Mirror Breaker? Will they have Ob? These busted cards. Alright. This is where the choices are tough, because Broker's Charm could hit the Fable. Doomscar could hit the board. We might need more lands, so this might have to draw cards. So I guess we Doomscar these two. But it doesn't even feel good. It doesn't feel like we got ahead or anything. But if we have a land next turn, maybe Wandering Emperor, March, Detour, all kinds of options. All right, can they have a good follow-up? Yeah. Not a land, so I guess we have to draw one. And we really need to draw a white source that's untapped. Okay, 2 of those. Pretty early for this engine, that's for sure. I was hoping to draw you a lot later. Alright, our opponent's on the Shadow's Verdict plan for dealing with Ob. Does that mean they run Ob themselves? And Tenacious Underdog? Maybe not. If all they're doing is powering up Hive this turn, that's great. That is actually really great for us. Not much of a turn. Depopulate. If we wait till next turn, we can hit both of the... See, we can hit both of the Fables. Okay, I'm gonna have a weird moment. I've played something like this deck so much, I don't know if there's a Devastating Mastery in the deck right now. So, hashtag sponsored. There is one Devastating Mastery in the deck. Thank you. Thank you, Aether Hub. Alright, so we'll play this on white. I don't know if you can hear it. My dog is going to sound the alarm for a minute. A human being is upstairs measuring, I think, windows or something. Some, you know, joys of being a homeowner meme. What's she gonna do with those? Opponent will not power up the Hive. They will attack with the Reflection. Do we just take this and wait till end step? They have something else they probably want to do with their mana if they didn't power up Hive, but it can't be that good unless they just top decked it. And I'm probably going to depopulate these anyway, so let's just take it. Hopefully they play something else with Detour it, then depopulate? No? Do we want to play the Emperor? If we play the Emperor here and plus it, next turn we depopulate, then minus make a token, and we have a board presence. If the opponent has removal for it, though, it's kind of a waste. Let's chill. Let's depopulate. Good, good, good. Let's see if they go for that hive now. It won't save them from March, though. What? What? No, wait. What's this? No! You bastard. Perfect mana. Imagine thinking that this could normally work, and then it actually does. Ah. Han Solo. We better shoot first. Nope, we do not shoot first. We have never shot first. Okay. Guess I'll keep. We do have Doomscar at least. But foretelling it might be complicated. Maybe I was supposed to play Seagate there. I might have too much faith that I'm going to draw the land I need. Feels weird. Feels really weird. We just gotta buy time to get to Devastating Mastery. Hopefully this doesn't mean the opponent plays a Lulf. They do have a lot of reactive cards in that deck. We might even student cost the Devastating Mastery. Rude. Okay. Hard mode engaged for sure. Do they go for it again? They take 3. They play another announcement. Okay. Let's just get rid of it. Just keep the pressure down. They make another play here because it's still their main phase. Okay. Pressure is very real. Need to gain some life. Needs to gain life. But the opponent might be afraid of running Invoke Despair into cards like Tested Talents. They tend to leave scars on people. There's Revitalize, there's Charm. I really want the land. I also want the Boseiju. I guess I don't need more cards right this minute. I'll grab the Boseiju. Hopefully I draw a different land to play. Okay, cool. Need to be able to fight that Hive. I know I have Wandering Emperor for it, but you know that that card will probably have another spot it needs to be used. Maybe to eat up and Invoke Despair. Professor some blah blah blah. Sciences. Okay. I feel like the opponent, they either have nothing, right? Or they have... Maybe they're just a full Orzhov control list. I feel like they have another Despair and they're slow rolling it. Maybe it's in my head, but that's the way it feels. They're giving me a lot of time, though. What do you guys think? Do we Doomscar this? I don't think so, since we have 2 Revitalizes. I'm still waiting for them to play a Planeswalker or something, then Mastery can get all of this. Hold. Still not even powering up Hive. Interesting. It's giving me time. It's giving me a lot of time. Like, if they just pass here and don't do anything, I'll deluge. They want a meat hook. Sure. Gotta be a little careful around that. They foretell again. I mean, I guess these are Doom Scars? They're probably not angels. There's a negate. It took a long time, but there it is. And then a Broker's Charm. Can destroy the meat hook if we're under pressure. Alright, we need to make a play here, or we have to discard. Is it time for the Mastery? We can do that and leave up negate. Yeah. So what do? We go to 5 from that? They go for despair, we kill it? Okay. Could also do this. If they bounce the creatures, do I care? Not that much, right? So this is mostly like I want to get rid of the treasures in the meat hook. That's an interesting proposition. It would leave us up mana for Revitalize. Yeah, I feel like I'm in it for the time. Still, this doesn't kill Planeswalkers, which is our primary problem. Planeswalkers are a huge problem. In that case... No, we don't want to do that much either. Oh, mate. Okay. This is a big decision. Thank you for your patience. I'm doing it. I'm doing Student Cost Mastery. I can't believe it, but we're just getting rid of the treasures in the hook. If the opponent saves the hook, good. I guess they redeploy it. It doesn't do anything on its own. It needs support. Okay. They don't even get a death trigger because of that. Cool. If the opponent's been holding Invoke Despair this whole time, though, they really should have been casting it, because they gave us all the time in the world to find negate, and now we can try to outmaneuver them. I think if there's a card that they're not prepared for, it's probably Revitalize, right? Okay. They want to take out Deluge. Master of Sim blah 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 returns to the scene. Definitely looks like a character that would be in the Star Wars Cantina. And so do all of the mascots, for that matter. Hook returns. Start rebuilding that life total. Let's try to get the Memory Deluge cast this turn. I'm willing to take damage for that. Alright, our opponent has generated the mascots. There's the Shigeki. We have a March. We have a Detour. We have another Deluge. I think I've got enough cards. I'm out of sweepers once this Doomscar is cast, but I think that's okay. They seem like more of a control deck. Let's grab these. And get this cast. Goodbye, Hook. Opponent might respond with a Deadly Dispute, assuming something's happening to the board, but they don't. Cool as a cucumber. Roadside Reliquary. Nothing like stone raining yourself for value. I too have done it. All right, so I don't think they're locked in for 2 cards. We could blow up the Hook and just give them 1, but I don't think it's worth it. It's kind of a cute play, but it takes the negate down, and they might follow up with Invoke Despair somehow. I mean, they have the mana straight up for it, so they could definitely follow up with Invoke Despair. $32 cards of fun to go. Shambling Ghast returns, because why not? Kill it. Remove the Hook. I do not want to take damage for killing your stuff. I want to kill your stuff guilt and pain-free, because it's my favorite. I got all day. Agadeem's Awakening. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. It's too bad the Seagate Restoration is down here. I would love to, I could really use it. We can play this out a little more, right? Drop an Emperor. We drop an Emperor here, exile this, they play Confront the Past on it. We're pretty happy.
I am the Emperor of Kamigawa.
Against a deck with no counter magic, we just have to make sure their cards that would exile the graveyard don't resolve, and we can Endless Detour win con them. It's gonna take a while, but it's an option.
This is what you get for hurting my
Oh, no action, huh? Alright. What do they got down there for Planeswalker? Nothing. So they've got some Planeswalkers they've been slow rolling on me. Or just not drawing. We'll see. Don't worry, guys. Han Solo just had to go repay Jabba the Hutt. He'll be back soon. Probably just in the nick of time. Ta-da! This just works, right? We're behind on all the axes right now. If they respond with an instant speed spell, we can actually Doomscar Foretell in response to make sure we still draw a card. There's the verse.
years of training for this.
All right. We chillin'. We chillin'. If they think they're gonna wait me out, they got the wrong guy. Whoa. All right, feisty. We'll make those blocks. You are free from the carbonite. Who are you? Someone who loves you. One of the sillier moments in movies, but you gotta love it. Where do you want that? You want that on the top? You want that on the bottom? What you got? What you gonna do with that? Top of the deck. Okay. What else you got? You gonna invoke despair now? Yeah, you are. Of course you are. Oh my gosh, I'm really nervous. Let me revitalize. I'm very concerned. Ooh. All right. Looking juicy. Hold. To the top. You gotta invoke despair again. All right, 10 mana. Let's get 4 cards. Endless Detour. Endless Detour. Negate. An offer you can't refuse. I think we're at a point where that's pretty good. Let's get Mastery, right? Or just get this and draw 2 cards. Like, continuing to draw more cards is really effective. Nah, just get the counters. The cycle begins. Let's see how long the opponent can take it. How tough are you, Han Solo? You gonna dip out? Are you gonna fight? I always do that. I always try to target a player. That's not how it works. All right. Shigeki on top. Loop established. It's not quite as satisfying as the Sky Turtle, but it's way more versatile, and you're playing a much better card than the Sky Turtle, just in general, you know? Sometimes I even amaze myself. And we are back for the post-game wrap, and let's check out the stats powered by MTGA Assistant, which is the new sponsor for the channel, and you'll be getting plenty more info and things about how they work, and this is what it looks like when you pull up the stats panel for your deck. You can download it for free in the description. I really hope you do. It does support the channel, so thank you very much to everybody who checks out MTGA Assistant from Overwolf. So, the control, the pile. I mean, you can see, when I first started playing this deck, the cards that were in it were not particularly great. I was trying to ferry Lithoform Engine silliness, which is kind of an endless infinite life thing for as many times as you can click it. But then I started really just honing in on like Shigeki. I had the Sky Turtle in the deck that got cut. I had a lot of Devastating Mastery in the deck, kind of an overreaction, I think, to Ob. That eventually got cut. And in the long run, we started to stabilize. We had a nice winning streak in here. Today hasn't been as much winning, but we are sitting at a 60% win rate, 21 wins. 14 losses, and we were on the draw 22 times and on the play 13 times. 69% win rate. Nice. Yeah, I think the deck can only really trend up now that the build is a little more finalized, and surely at some point the on the play to on the draw ratio will even out, right? Right? Sure it will. Also, just a quick note, as we're now really into Streets of New Capenna territory, the intros and the outros might be just a little bit longer as I explain new cards and talk about cards that didn't make the deck. Things aren't as stock. People aren't used to the play patterns. Everything requires a little bit more explanation. So kind of an angry shout out, I guess, to those of you, because I get 2 types of comments, right? I either get the comment that I need to read the cards more, or that I talk too much. There's no, we can't do the extreme of either. We have to find happy middle ground. Thanks to everybody who, hangs in there along for the ride, enjoys the videos without necessarily dumping an extreme opinion that considers nobody else, let alone me, when they're leaving their comments. But I still love you all. Thank you very much for watching. As always, thank you for watching this video. As always, I'll see you in the next video. You're cool.